I am not the most excited to see what Aryan Khan has up his sleeve regarding his directorial prowess. I am not the most excited to see the star cameos in this web series. I'm not even that excited to see whether Bollywood can take the mick out of themselves. You know what I am most excited for? To see a Bollywood baddie finally make a comeback for the ages. No, I am not talking about Bobby Deol. Only the real Bollywood fans will know who I am talking about.
Hey, I've seen this one. This is a classic.
इज्जत सबकी इज्जत करेंगे तो लूटेंगे किसकी?
Let's be honest about one thing regarding any launch when it is a product of nepotism. There is more interest among the general public, and because of the families and influence they come from, the projects also in turn have an investment in marketing associated with it, because of which more people become aware of them. But what also comes with privilege and influence is the tier lists of hype associated with talent. It's a tough pill to swallow, but it is what it is. When you consider the biggest stars, the launches of their children are associated with way more discourse than the children of supporting actors or directors. For example, there is just much more discussion about the launch of Varun Dhawan because of the influence of his father as a director compared to Vicky Kaushal, who still had to go through the ringer of proving himself despite his father being a celebrated action director. So if I were to create parallels with the generation that has launched since 2018, there is of course way more interest associated with the debut projects of talents like Janhvi Kapoor, the daughter of a legend like Sridevi or Sara Ali Khan, the daughter of successful actors like Amrita Singh and Saif Ali Khan, versus what was the reception around the launch of, say, Aadar Jain from the Kapoor family, or even Shanaya Kapoor, the daughter of Sanjay Kapoor. The interest varies dependent on the influence of one's previous generation. You might think that I am absolutely bluffing owing to how the careers of some of the actors I have named have panned out, but you would be blown away by knowing that Janhvi and Sara Ali Khan's debuts were success stories. Dhadak going on to become a hit, and Kedarnath being both critically and commercially successful. That's how much interest the Indian public had towards these individuals prior to the nepotism versus outsider debate becoming mainstream. Ever since the pandemic, however, most launches of products of nepotism have been abysmal, especially if you were to consider projects like Archies and Nadanya, an absolute rejection from the audience to give them any leeway, and justifiably so, as the gap between how prepared one should be versus what was the reality was glaringly obvious. While examples like Junaid Khan, Amir Khan's son, still has the audience split, and Sayyara is an anomaly from all industry standards, Ahan Pandey, the nephew of Chunky Pandey, coming out of syllabus for everyone, the launch of Aryan Khan as a director was interesting to observe merely as someone who has seen the patterns of this industry in the last few years. With great power comes great responsibility, and with Shahrukh Khan's children, especially if they are taking a plunge into the public life, there are a lot of expectations. Aryan Khan in the public eye in the last few years honestly has gone through hell and back, with many experts in this digital media space using him as fodder to label an industry under one umbrella. However, people became really curious when they got to know that he is not going to take the expected route of featuring as a talent in front of camera, but would direct instead. From the first look of the announcement, the one thing that stuck out for most people was not how eerily similar Aryan's voice is compared to SRK, but how convincing his tone of delivery and diction was in Hindi. This is the case of actually us being scarred with such mediocre talent and performances, and mostly being subjected to city slang of young actors rolling their R's, that even when a dude is simply speaking normally, we look around as if we've discovered this rare Pokemon of sorts. I got a glimpse of this same diction and delivery when I saw the promos of the Hindi dub of the Lion King trailer, so it didn't alarm me at all. However, the uncanny resemblance to SRK with certain tics regarding the pauses and the weight in certain words was slightly crazy. The announcement was one thing, but I was more interested in the tone, quality and pitch of the show, the title of which still seems to be like a mystery because it isn't the word we associate with Jon Snow from Game of Thrones, so whatever it is open for speculation. However, what I think is a genius move from someone like Aryan regarding this project is the self-aware tone of satire and brain rot that he has employed for this show. This is the perfect way to take control of the narrative around you when you can, through the intelligent use of irony and exaggeration, be a part of the joke even before the internet pounces on you. It's the classic case of cracking a joke on yourself even before social media creates several threads around you. The rarity of this genre makes me also want to reference what I see as its biggest influences, And I think it can genuinely create the ingredients of a very entertaining show that exactly understands what it is trying to do. When I think about one of the most addictive shows that I have seen this year, it has to be The Studio on Apple TV starring Seth Rogen. I mean, if I were to talk about my experience watching this show, it was almost like having a constant anxiety attack, and I can't even begin to tell you the number of people within the industry who are working as assistant directors or creative producers who have told me that the depiction of how life is on set is accurate as hell. I mean, you've got Rogan taking over a production company and being the deciding factor on what gets greenlit. This is a man who is a purist in many ways but also wants to take care of the business side of things. So the man wants Martin Scorsese to make what he wants, but he can't help but pitch that legendary director to still find a way to integrate an IP like Kool-Aid. The show takes us through one whirlwind of a situation after the other, from suggesting editing cuts to a legendary director like Ron Howard to producers and their invasive ways of being on set and how it comes in the way of creative directors. So the show, while being an accurate representation of what goes down in the industry, is also slightly heightened and slightly exaggerated for entertainment purposes, essentially becoming what we love Farah Khan for. Satire that is self-aware and exaggerated. Now take the themes of The Studio and create the parallels within our own examples from Indian cinema. Think about one of the most impactful debuts by a product of nepotism as a director, and I think of Luck by Chance, directed by Zoya Akhtar, and take the same themes of the film industry and give it an exaggerated spin of what Farah Khan executed in Om Shanti Om. And I think this marriage, this amalgamation of topics and the pitch at which they will be told is what will be this show created by Aryan Khan. Of course, this is all based on only what I have seen till now. Luck by Chance told us the story of an outsider, the fate of getting that big break, and the absolute chaos it causes within the industry. You had stars with established producers observing the new kid in town, and to further add to the chatter, our leading man was having an affair with the Nepo baby leading lady opposite him. Now take these same themes that are very much a grounded reality of the film industry and give a Farah Khan spin to it. While her epic venture Om Shanti Om was primarily based on the concept of rebirth and exacting revenge, it provided a hilarious commentary on the film industry too, where junior artists were doing B-grade projects, where every extra would want to be noticed on camera, even if their roles were a blink and a miss, where every rumor was dismissed with epic generic lines like "we're just good friends," and Shabana Azmi hilariously protests against the Filmfare Awards being conducted next to the slums while being decked up from head to toe in designer clothes. It's the perfect satirical comedy when you think about the concept of Darde Disco just being something a star argues for. It doesn't make sense in the script, but he just wants a commercial dance number in the film. It's absurd but accurate, and looking at various frames of the Netflix series project, it seems to be an extension of the same universe. Aryan Khan filling the void of Farah Khan in my life was not in my 2025 bingo card. The rise of an outsider as he gets his big commercial hit, Laksh experiencing that rise with his friends who knew him before he got the fame, a romance with a popular Nepo baby that becomes the talk of the town, and just like Luck by Chance, the integration of the biggest names in the industry in the most seamless way possible. How cameos should be originally intended. I would love to see the wild swings that Aryan has taken as a writer, and what I can clearly tell from the last dialogue of a policeman putting Laksh behind bars and saying that people become popular after they get put in jail, that he isn't afraid of making a joke on himself. And in turn, I assume the show's themes will precisely focus on this, on how blissfully unaware most of the industry is regarding the ground reality of India. I found it hilarious to see the bootleg Hollywood sign to denote the establishment of an influential production company, feeling like an extension of what Rishi Kapoor played in Luck by Chance. Producers stuck in their ways and still presuming that they have the Midas touch. I'm most curious to see how they integrate Bobby Deol's character in the mix and how he acts as a deterrent to the rise of Laksh as a star. We keep on talking about the lack of new voices behind the camera, and in an environment where there is a plethora of new faces in front of camera and everyone wanting to be the next big star in the block, I'm actually relieved that someone with this much privilege is at least attempting to do something different. At least it can be a step away from our consistent issue with most stories coming across as boomer energy or the try-hard energy of what an older demographic assumes to be cool. Whether or not this show will actually land from a comedic standpoint is something we will have to wait and see. But all of you would be lying to yourselves if you were to say to me that you will not be tuning in for the show. I think everyone will, and you may consider me to be really putting too much faith in a creator who hasn't really proven himself till now, but I honestly can get behind such wild swings. I would much prefer such risks than the cookie cutter expected beats that we see week in and week out. And that was a video, guys. Write down in the comments below what you thought about the first look of Aryan Khan's new Netflix show. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram, the handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.